It all started when we did it just on the weekends for fun. And I could say, as of last year, I was addicted to meth for 10 years off and on.
Well, I know it's not an excuse, but I've known from the very beginning that it seems like everything that I do, I've always had an addictive personality. And naturally, that was going to take over when I decided to toy or play with drinking.
I should have realized that I had a problem a long time ago. There were certainly plenty of signs. When you have a problem with addiction, you don't realize a lot of times that your reaction isn't the same as everyone else's reaction. If you have a true addiction, I just thought everyone enjoyed pills the same way I did. And so it's hard to know when you've crossed the line.
The first drink I took, I knew immediately I was in trouble.
It didn't take long before we had lost everything, and my husband was committing burglaries to support our addiction. And soon after that, he was arrested, and now he's serving 45 years behind our addiction. So I was left with 2 little girls and a really big habit. I've been arrested, been to jail. I've committed crimes, burglaries, several times, thefts. Nothing could make me stop.
The addiction that I had to overcome was opiates, which sounds a lot better to me, but what it basically is prescription painkillers. I did a lot of things like exaggerate pain levels, try to get excess refills from doctors. Mine went full-blown about 4 years ago when I started thinking about sending my oldest child off to college. The financial stress and the grief of losing her, I was very prideful. I wouldn't admit how much I was struggling. I just opened the door completely wide for Satan to come in and grab a hold of me.
Anything I liked or enjoyed, I went back to over and over and over again. For me, I always wondered, why didn't you want to drink 5 or 6 times a week? If it felt good one time, well then 5 must be even better. I just didn't stop with that addiction. It led me to where I became a very overfed, undernourished individual. I became addicted to food. I was well over 320 pounds, smoking 4 packs of cigarettes a day.
I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about myself. The last time I went on a binge was last year, and I was at rock bottom. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to stay. I didn't have money. I didn't have food. I didn't have my children. I was staying at one of my drug dealers' houses. I knew something had to change, and I was in the back room of this house. God spoke to me in that room. He just told me enough was enough, and I put it down, and I never picked it up again. And I called Randy Wolf, and I told him the situation I was in. I told him I just needed a way out. The next day I was in a treatment center, and I stayed in a treatment center for a month.
When I got to the treatment that I went to, I was 6 hours away from home, separated from my friends and my family, everyone I loved. But that's what it took for God to get a hold of me. I had to be completely alone. I remember my first night laying in a hospital bed, literally wanting to die, and just saying to God, I need you so much. In the middle of a bunch of drug addicts and alcoholics, He delighted in me, and I began to heal.
My addiction had already run me in trouble with the law, in trouble with my family, cost me friends, and cost me jobs. I'd already drinking up one marriage, and I was well on my way to drinking up the second one. Throughout all this, I tried to mask my addiction, and then one day I had to come face to face with it. That's the day I had to come face to face with Jesus Christ and what He had done and what He wanted to do in my life.
I know that I was never alone. I know at those moments that I felt so lonely and all by myself. I knew that God was there with me. Every time I was doing the drugs, He was there with His arms open, just waiting. He was just waiting on me to turn to Him. Now I'm working on my recovery. I've been clean for 323 days, and I'm going to school to be a substance abuse counselor.
since I've been in recovery, I have about 6.5 prayer journals filled to date, and it's not because I'm super spiritual. It's exactly the opposite. It's because I'm utterly desperate. I know where I'm going to go on my own. I've been there, and I'm completely determined never to go back.
And what I found out what Christ wanted to do with my life is set me free from the things, the prisons that I had created. It's the day that I came face to face with Christ, and his question to me was very simple. What are you going to do with me now? Well, I decided there was nothing I could do but accept his forgiveness.
Shame is such a tool from Satan, and when it says he comes to kill, steal, and destroy, you better believe it, because it's true. But God, being God, forgave that, and as if that wasn't even enough, he tells me that it is even possible for light to turn the thing it shines on, to turn my ugly addiction, to turn my sin into light itself. That's my God.